This is Apollo 18. Do you copy? Anyone, friends? With the development of science, we humans have also progressed and we have even reached space. Hundreds of people have traveled to space so far, but there are also some unfortunate people who lost their lives during their journey. And here we tell you that after their death, their dead body is also not found. And in today's special episode, we will tell you what happens to the dead in space. Friends, whenever a person dies, he has his last rites with full respect. He is bid farewell to this world with respect. But when a space traveler dies during his journey, then leave respect, it is not possible to see his body. So far, 18 people have been such who have taken their last breaths in space and have realized that terrible death, which we and you cannot even imagine. In the movies, you must have seen many astronauts dying during the space mission, which brings tears to your eyes. But friends, everything shown in the movies is not true. Today we will bring the real truth in front of you, the truth that even scientists are afraid to tell. If an astronaut gets lost in his spaceship or gets separated from the space station, then even God cannot save him. First of all, we humans cannot go into space without a spacesuit. Because friends, a person cannot last more than 15 seconds in space without a spacesuit. In a few moments, he dies, and that death is so painful that even death is afraid. But friends, the special thing is that if that person is wearing a spacesuit and there is no problem in it, but if he gets lost somewhere in space, then that person can live comfortably in the spacesuit for a few hours. But these few hours will be worse than his death. Yes, worse than death. Because the first thing is that the space is completely empty, its density is not at all. Just like there is no air or matter in the vacuum, the same is the case with space. That's why even sound cannot travel in space. That means if a person gets lost in space, he cannot even scream for help because the voice cannot go from one place to another. And now wait, the dark truth of space is still to be told. The radiation there is very dangerous. And a person wandering there can become a victim of that radiation at any time. On top of that, if he is near an energy source like the sun, then the radiation will kill him immediately. But if a person is on the shadow of another planet or an object and there is no direct radiation on it, then there is no way to escape. Because friends, in such a situation, a person can be a victim of a very dangerous cold. And what to say about the mischief of wandering in space, which if collided while wandering in space, can be a very terrible accident. Because the accident in space will damage your spacesuit. And without a spacesuit, a few seconds of life is also enough. Meaning, wandering in space or the damage of the spacesuit directs death. There is always danger around. Space is a place where you can never feel safe. Today or tomorrow, death is inevitable. But the real cause starts after death. Because when someone dies in space, his body starts roaming in space. Without any purpose, without any reason, it just roams in space like the village and mall in space. And it becomes an object that will keep roaming in space for centuries. But imagine how terrible it would be for the dead to keep roaming in space. It is scary to think about it. But let's assume that not because of an accident, but because of natural causes, a person dies in space. So what should be done with his body? Is it left alone to become a space object? According to NASA, the probability of a person dying during a space mission is equal to 0. Astronauts are prepared for almost every situation before sending them on a mission. But there is no guarantee of what will happen in the future. And the coming time will bring even more progress for space science. Man has only stepped on the moon, when man will move towards Mars in the future and will travel further in the infinite space. So these journeys from one planet to another will go on for years. And when the journey will be so long, there will be accidents as well. Now in this situation, if a person dies due to natural causes, then you will be shocked to hear what will happen to him. If we talk about today in the International Space Station, if a person dies, then what will happen to his dead body? Nothing has been said clearly about it. However, Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield has said about it, that if a person dies in space, then the space station commanders decide what to do at that time. Because in such a situation, it will not be right to keep the dead body in the space station. And if his body is brought back to Earth, then it will not be easy. That's why when such questions arise, NASA sits quietly. Because they have no official policy about it. Terry Whites is an American astronaut who has survived in space for 213 days in the International Space Station. When he was asked what NASA does for the people who die at the International Space Station, Terry tells how to save other people at the space station. It is given full training, but if someone dies, then what to do with him, this is not told. Now it is clear from his words that NASA has never paid attention to that. If someone dies there, then what should happen to him? Until now, everything was safe, but the coming time is going to be more modern, where we humans will move further in space and will travel for a long time. During this time, the chances of accidents will increase. In this case, not only NASA, but all scientists around the world should know that if someone dies in space, then what will happen to him? NASA is sitting quietly on this difficult question. But some well-known people have told 3 possibilities. The first thing is that the dead person's dead body should be brought back to Earth with respect and it should be held by the family. But this work will not be easy at all. It can take a long time. And it will not be possible to keep the dead body safe for such a long time because after a short time of death, the dead body starts rotting and it becomes very difficult to keep it safe until then. The second possibility may also be that the last rites of the dead body should be performed in space. Yes, the last rites. But friends, this last rite will not be like any religion, but it will be very strange. In 2005, a Swedish company has imagined a system in a study conducted by NASA which will freeze the body of an astronaut and then turn that frozen body into pieces of ice. This kind of last rites is really very strange. But it is not so bad. Obviously, when people die during space travel in the future, this scientific method of last rites can be a better way. Now if we talk about the third and last method, it is the most strange. Here we go to another planet and perform the last rites of the dead body. But friends, it will not be possible to burn the dead body here and perform its last rites. Because to burn the body, oxygen is needed and there is no oxygen in every planet. Our neighbor Mars is even more prone to oxygen, so it is possible that the dead body will be buried on another planet. It sounds so imaginary, but it feels like a dream, but in the future, all this will happen. We humans are thinking of occupying Mars first. We are planning to build a colony there, and if any astronaut dies during this time, he can be buried there. With these 3 methods, humans will not have to wander around like an object in space, but his last rites will be performed in a way. Because in the coming time, we are also trying to find a technique in which they can use hibernation. So friends, that's all for today's video. We hope that you found this video very interesting and informative. Do like and share the video, and to watch the upcoming videos, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you don't miss the upcoming videos. We will meet you in the next video. Till then, bye bye, take care.